Hello, it's running time. How are all you human beings tonight? It is nice to see you all. We have Janet from another planet, Pat S, just another red shirt, Snortopoopus Cuber, and D Bud Martin. What's up, D Bud Martin? Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Think he's going to give the audience what he thinks they want. Well, I'm going to subvert your expectations because I'm Ryan Johnson. Robert, what's up, Robert? Hell yeah, dude. All right. You guys are already Nick from another. Agent Decibel. Hail, sir. What's going on, man? Welcome. Oh, my God. So I am pretty damn stoked about tonight. As you all know, we're talking the 1987 great The Running Man. I mean, you had this movie. It's really weird to say that at the time I thought it was like a bigger flip because it had been talked about, but it wasn't like something of the caliber of like T2 or Total Recall. But it actually did like very average at the box office. So it like made, I guess, like enough money to, I guess, not lose money per se. But we still ended up being this whole like, oh, we had nothing to follow up with. What the fuck? But that all said, I'm not going to talk about it anymore until I get my fine guests on this panel. And I got a fine bevy of fine gentlemen here. A lot of you are familiar with these faces. And if you somehow are not, I'm going to introduce them to you. Greetings and salutations to you, Eric K. Hale. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he is the master of editing videos to absolute comedic perfection. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Wait Down.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll do something. I don't have a hoop to jump through, so I'll just say hello. Hello.
Hello to you, sir. What's going on, man?
Oh, I am here, ready to watch, talk about this movie that I just watched. That was made the year I was born.
Dude, look at that. Look at that. I saw Running Man at the drive-in. Woo! That is crazy. Man, TZ Canadian Beer. What's up, TZ? And now we got our next other gentleman on the panel. He is a man of a few aliases. One of them on Twitter is the Brutal. But on the YouTube world, he is also a man of an amazing diet that he is stuck with. Ladies and gentlemen, Dustin of Brutal.
What's happening, gentlemen?
Howdy.
Hello to you, sir. How are you? How's your day?
I'm doing well, man. I had a great day. Watched the movie again. It was great.
Nice.
More questions than the last time I watched it, but
oh yeah, it'd be like that, huh? Hot dog, dude. Nice.
It's adapted from a Richard Bachman book, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with who Richard Bachman is.
Vaguely. We will get to it. We will definitely get to it, and we definitely want to talk about it. I'll let you have the floor with that one, Dustin. And awesome. We got another awesome guest on the panel. He is part of a group of activists that call themselves archivists. And he has the look of a toad, but I guess he didn't want to do that tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, he is Jed of the Archivist.
Oh!
What's up, Jed?
Hey, what's up, brother? I had lasagna for dinner, by the way. So.
Oh, did you really? I had a pizza puff. It was really good.
Yeah, I had lasagna. So I had to put Arnold on my picture. So
no, as you should, man. This is who I am. I'm Sub-Zero. Oh man.
Do you know he was a professor?
No.
Yeah. Sub-Zero. The guy that played Sub-Zero was actually a professor.
Well, he's not a literal professor. He was a professor in the sense of he studied under a judo professor?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in the credits they called him that, but then but over the years, but he's been in a lot of stuff.
That was also his name as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Professor Tanaka.
There were a lot of
like
wrestlers in the Running Man, which was super awesome.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah.
Oh, Dad Man Walking, Finite SA, Draco Argentis. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in, dropping by, whatever it is you're doing. Thank you. All right, so you know what? I'm going to let Dustin kick this one off after we see D. Bud Martin here. Wait, Jed doesn't look like a toad tonight, right? He's liking that look. No, you didn't want to hold back, Dad Man Walking. We will view that later. We will view that later. So, Dustin, why don't you talk about? Hold it right there. Hold that floor, ladies and gentlemen. We have another fine gentleman on the panel. You may know him as the head, and I had to emphasize the word head of the Dix division. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Comics Division.
Let's go.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going, man. What's up? How you doing?
They're pretty good.
Nice.
Hey,
Thanks
Comics.
for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Sorry, I was running a little bit late. I was over at Onzo's. It's his 1 year anniversary being on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Has he already been a year for him too? Wow. Yeah. Dude, nice. Excellent. Well, thank you for joining. I know you know what we're talking about tonight, so it's going to be a fun panel for good time. So you can say, so Dustin, comics, Dustin.
How's it going?
What's happening?
Not much. How about yourself?
Living the dream.
Right on.
Jeff with the Dix event. Too many dicks in the chat room, right? There's never enough dicks in the chat room. We got the Dix division representing up in here. So awesome. So Dustin, you brought up a fun, interesting little nibble earlier. Why don't you talk about it?
Okay, so the author that wrote the book that this movie was based on, his name is Richard Bachman.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys know him as Stephen King.
That's right.
Oh, you're right, dude.
So he did another book under he did a bunch of books under Richard Bachman, and one of them was a movie or a book that I wish they would make into a movie. They've talked about it, but it was called The Long Walk.
Oh yeah,
that book messed me up. But I have yet to read the Running Man book, which I know that there's some differences. They're not playing like a game show as much as they are like running for their lives cross country. So I'm not that's all I know of the differences. I don't know if we can dig into that deeper, if we even care to, but
I mean, we could dig into it subtly because I know there's some difference. Because if I recall, with the book, it wasn't like more like on like a world scale, whereas in the movie it was just more of like a Los Angeles type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like obviously that may have been one of those things where the change for the movie may have been for the best, because can you imagine how much longer this movie? There's no way they pull off the Running Man on the whole entire planet.
And Stephen King hates the movie, so he does. He literally does.
Shocking. Well, I mean, what movie does he love? I mean, it's Stephen King. I mean, I'm just saying. Oh, hey, Eric K in the house, coming in hot with $5. Who loves you? And who do you love? And the quotes start flying. Thank you, Eric K, for the $5 and for that quote. That was beautiful. So yeah, no, I know it's funny because when you're mentioning Dustin, though, Richard Bachman, I'm like, why have I heard that name before? Why have I? I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. And I know he hated this one with a boiling passion. Like this is like he had resented this film for some reason. I mean, I shouldn't be shocked.
I think he actually liked the mist ending, though, because I know that was changed from his original story, but quite frankly, I found it to be way better.
Yeah. Oh,
is it also Total Recall another one of King's movies or King's books?
Philip K. Dick is.
Total Recall. Was that Philip K. Dick? Okay.
Philip K. Dick, yes. And a movie that should not have been remade, Hollywood. I'm just saying, you don't remake that movie. I'm just gonna be that guy. But anyways, what's up, another monster? Oh! We got a special 70s rock fan here too as well. What's up, 70s?
Hello, sir. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing.
How
How
you
are
doing?
you?
I'm so old. I'm more like the crawling man than the running man.
The limping man.
The limping man. That's me. What have I missed? What have I missed?
Oh, well, we just talked about our little fun fact about the story who was written by Mr. Stephen King, but under his
Indeed.
actual name or alias, whatever it was. I don't know which one it was way back when.
His
But-
pseudonym.
The pseudonym, okay.
Yeah.
Pseudonym.
the pseudonym.
Yes.
I got a bunch of facts for you too, Nick. too,
Okay.
so.
Before we get that, I'm gonna read off the story here. I only got talk slot here, so I gotta be my best fill-in here on this whole movie here. So a look back at how Arnie's dystopian sci-fi, The Running Man, remains a relevant and ultimate action classic. With everything going on in the world right now, I can't help but be reminded of a classic action movie I grew up watching constantly. One that mirrors the everyday horrors we see on the nightly news, how timely, riots, heavy presence of militarized places, world economy at risk, this is getting too familiar, TV and other forms of media controlling what we see and consume, oh my god, not knowing if video clips have been altered to skew the opinions of the people. What movie could I possibly be referencing? There's no way any sane person could have written or predicted this in any form. Well, you'd be wrong in that assumption. And surely enough, the movie is 1987's The Running Man, starring everyone's favorite action star Arnie Schwarzenegger of California as wrongly convicted police officer Ben Richards. The movie begins with an ominous opening scroll laying out the dystopian landscape the world has found itself in, describing that the world economy has collapsed with food, resources, supply. Kind of reminds you of a certain reset button. A police state divided into paramilitary zones ruled with an iron hand, as well as controlling the television and entertainment industries. The release the masses have been given that are in the form of television programming and game shows. Not just any game show will do, but the #1 rated show in the whole wide world, The Running Man. A show designed to distribute justice to the worst of the worst the state has deemed guilty. A show created and hosted by one man, Damon Killian, played to perfection by Richard Dawson. Yeah, that guy. Remember him from Family Feud, everyone?
Yep.
What he says.
Yeah, what a great performance. Where the guilty are given a chance at a reduced sentence, maybe even parole if they can survive 3 hours against the stalkers. Think American Gladiators, but with actual weapons and permission to kill their opponents. While we haven't quite gone to the televised executions part in this day and age, let's never get there. We do have some pretty ridiculous shows that are more akin to the one they showed called Climbing for Dollars. So don't lose hope just yet. But we can book a flight from the comfort of our own homes with just a few clicks on the computer. So we have that going for us. During my recent research about this movie, I had to do some digging into who in the right mind would write something like this. I mean, it had to be someone with a bit of a twisted mind and sense of humor. To my surprise, the movie is actually based on a novel by the same name and was written by author Richard Bachman. Oh, okay, and sounds like just some random author that their story was stumbled upon. You'd be wrong in that assumption as well, because that name is actually a pseudonym for none other than Stephen King himself. Started to make a lot more sense now, doesn't it? The master of horror rang about something that could happen for real is in my mind a lot scarier than monsters and ghosts. Yeah, you could say that again. I mean, have you guys watched it, like, at least recently, and think to yourself, like, whoa, this is like...
Not recently, but the one thing I think is really interesting that kind of jumps out is the whole thing with deep fakes, because that's what they did at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, I mean, fake news, deep fakes. It's like, wow, we really are kind of heading towards this dystopia.
Even some like smaller little things that you may not have noticed. But one thing I picked up on, so after they did that deep fake in the with that episode, so the game show was over. Then they come back for like an after show. And we see that so much now, like with The Walking Dead, then there's The Talking Dead. So that's definitely something that I mean, in 1987, that wasn't a thing.
No, it wasn't.
What's up, Sentinel?
Yeah, the only thing this is missing is a Twitter blue-checked mob commenting on it as they're running for their lives. Like, kill him. Cancel him.
In real time.
Oh man, no, that's true. No, it's once again, and that's funny you mentioned it because you have like the whole state overruling. You got like Dawson's character, like you got the crowd cheering for the state, which is something that we see happen in real life. So once again, just those eerie similarities. Oh, Toxic Man Flu. What's up, Tox?
What's up, Tox?
All right. Well, let's carry on with this. So we'll talk a bit some more. The movie itself is pretty much a nonstop action sci-fi adventure and quite possibly has the absolute most amount of one-liners spoken by Arnold ever put in one of his movies. Seriously, he had a line for just about every situation in this movie, from joking about the prison fight, who was acting, to tell Amber to throw up on him. Go ahead. It won't show on this shirt.
I love that part. He's like, go ahead.
and of course, he'll be able to work in his famous I'll be back, only to be outshined by quite possibly the best comeback ever spoken by the villain, Lena Rerun. That was good. That line.
That was
yeah,
good.
he's like only in rerun.
Like I look at that dialogue, like, wow, if that was scripted, kudos to whoever wrote that, or if that was off the fly, whoever did, that is just pure magic with that dialogue. So anyways, he is equipped for every stalker he kills along the way, from Sub-Zero now being known as Plane Zero. And how Buzzsaw had to split after cutting him practically in half. It wasn't just the bad guys he had comments about. He also threatened his companions during the game by telling them, if you guys don't shut up, I'm going to uplink your ass and you'll be underground.
It should be noted at this point that the writer is Stephen E. D'Souza, who co-wrote Die Hard, 48 Hours, and Commando.
Yes.
So the one-liners are de rigueur. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it just wasn't an action movie without one-liners, in my opinion.
No.
So let's talk about what made this movie so memorable for most people. The Stalkers. Remember, this movie came out before American Gladiators and was even the inspiration for the show. Talk about life imitating art. Was that seriously?
I had no idea.
What?
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were.
That's not where you want to imitate.
And there was another thing. They copied this from another game show. I have it right here in my notes because I got it. Let me see if I.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
It was inspired by another Japanese game show called the Transamerica Ultra Quiz. And then that was a movie. Then the movie came out, and then that inspired American Gladiators. So it was like Inception. Like,
dude.
Yeah.
You see, just goes to show American Gladiators would be much more fun if people actually lost their
We're getting
we're
there.
at risk. We're at risk in it.
The Japanese game show, Nick, it was known for it torturing its contestants in endurance contests, because I got to see some of these back when I was younger.
Was it
Did
a
you
typical?
really?
Was it a typical Japanese game show where everybody got thwacked in the genitals every 2 minutes?
Oh yeah, and if you see a couple of the guys in the movie got popped in the balls too.
God.
So yeah, it was. They would have sometimes they would have what do you call the clippage for the clothesline, the clippers and stuff, and then they would have to have these really heavy. Yeah, they had clothespins on you all over. Yeah. This one guy had clothespins all over his face, and a bunch of other stuff. It was just endurance contests. So,
dude, okay. Yeah. Ironcast here, the very notable comment. Japanese game shows were notorious for how they humiliated contestants for the entertainment of the audience.
Yep,
if you think about it now, Hollywood's done it the other way around. They humiliate the audience for the
joy
entertainment
of
the actors and the producers.
Yeah,
it's the audience that are being humiliated.
I think that's called reality TV.
That's right.
Comics.
Yeah, that's sadly true. Okay, well let's carry on. Okay, well, by the time I was old enough to watch The Running Man, I was already well versed in American Gladiators and WCW, WWF, so of course this movie struck a chord within me when I first watched it. Seeing each stalker come out to their own individual intros like Sub-Zero cutting the gong in half, Buzzsaw cutting the metal beams. Oh my god, he really did. These were like wrestling intros. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
And
good point.
Wow.
Hey, Nick, did you
What?
also know that the Running Man was the inspiration for Smash TV, the game?
Really?
Did you? Yeah. Yeah.
What, bro?
I remember
dead.
playing that in high school a lot.
Yeah, I beat Smash. That was insane. So Smash TV, somebody saw the Running Man, and then later on they're like, "Hey, we should make a game out of this."
Good
Like,
luck.
somehow-
You'll need it.
Need it, yeah. So-
all right, where were we here? And even Dynamo singing Buzzsaw cutting them out. Even Dynamo singing opera as he electrified the sign with his name glowing and bright.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so ridiculous.
There's just not enough opera in action movies. I think.
Nope.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
And that's why we needed Dynamo. We needed him to give us some actual inclusion of opera. They're like, we don't have enough opera inclusion. We gotta add opera in this. Come on, guys, include it. Oh, I know. It's one of those like fat lady sings moments. But anyways, it was just a spectacular display of over-the-top showmanship. And by God, I loved every single second of it. Not to mention the dancers adding some flamboyance to the show. Fun fact: the choreographer for the dancers was none other than Paula Abdul. What?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
had that. I wrote that down in my notes. I have a ton of this in my notes.
Dude, look
I
at
was-
that
I got it
yellow
for, like,
suit.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
hiding from much.
Look how
of that.
young
Adidas,
he
dude.
was.
It's an Adidas branded suit.
Dude.
Well, did you know there was also another rock star in the movie?
Mick Fleetwood.
Mick from Fleetwood Mac was in there. He was the
Yeah.
guy that took the things off their necks. So
And Dweezil
they would,
Zappa.
yeah, and
Yeah,
Zappa
there's
was in the
Zappa,
movie
yeah.
too. Yeah. So
Dude, this is a who's who in this movie.
yeah, it literally is. Like
Man.
I was making notes as I was watching the movie, so I was like,
Just look
Two
at that
dollars and a
lycra
couple
there.
rock stars.
yeah.
Look at that beautiful lycra outfit there. Wouldn't you just like to wear that form?
I think hers is better. It's better on her though. So you know.
That's true.
All right. All this culminated into the final battle sequence between Ben Richards, who had swayed a majority of the audience into cheering for him as he killed each stalker, Captain Freedom, played by the most recognizable actor a kid like me would have known at the time, Jesse the Body Ventura. I remember being amazed by the futuristic technology that they used to make it look like Captain Freedom killed Ben Richards, only to find out it was a stunt double. It just seems so far-fetched at the time. Not so much nowadays, what with deep fake tech. God, right? And then the hot button question. Time for Running Man reboot? Okay, I am going to prepare to possibly disagree. All right. No. Okay, let's see what this guy thinks. So far I'm liking it, but he might change it here. This movie still ranks pretty high on my list of must-watch action movies. When someone asks me my recommendations, what I'm about to say may be considered controversial, even sacrilegious. No, I'm not even saying that. No, this does not need a modern reboot.
Not in the least.
And look,
no.
he's ready for us too. He says, okay, settle down, put the torches on the pitchforks and hear me out for a minute. Just imagine this movie with the actual CGI tech we had available to us. No, dude, you're losing me now.
Yeah.
You had all these good points, and now here you are saying this?
Wait, he was doing good, and then he slaughtered it at the end. Like,
Dude.
Could you imagine if they redid this and like they had like The Rock as a stalker?
oh, they're gonna have like Brie, they're gonna have Rock, and then they're gonna have like Batista and like
Oh, God.
Kevin Hart.
Dude.
They're gonna have
I would
Kevin
watch it
Hart
because
as like
Kevin
one
Hart
of
was
the
in it.
yeah.
Kevin Hart would be the star, so he'd be playing Ben Richards.
Yeah, he would actually, in some ways, be more like Ben Richards because I know that they were originally going to have a big buff dude, like when the story was written for Ben Richards being a big buff dude, that was just kind of like, hey, let's just get Arnold. He's available, type of thing.
Arnold sounds like a guy called Ben Richards. My name is Ben. Ben Richards. Doesn't sound like a Ben Richards, does he?
So are y'all ready for me to break y'all's hearts?
Yeah, break us away.
So I dropped a link in the private chat, but it looks like apparently Edgar Wright is remaking The Running Man.
I had that in my note. I had that in my notes too. Like I was like, ugh.
I won't. I won't even give that thing attention. I'm gonna be that guy. Come on, Running Man would be an awesome reimagining.
Yeah, and literally, Debug said they don't have anybody today that can do the Killian role. Nobody.
Oh, God, no.
Richard Dawson is just like, you can't.
Really? What about the current guy that does it now? The current guy, Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. I was going to bring that up.
No.
I just
Killian is obviously going to be a white woman.
If you're rather than just remake this movie, make your own movie. Maybe that's influenced by this story. I'm all for influence, but just give your own story and have your own ideas and give us something great. And it's not like it can't be doing. It's not like there's not decent actors and actresses out there. It's more of, are they going to actually be creative? And that's the hard truth that Hollywood seems to be afraid of facing nowadays. But finite essay, why the hell would you want to green screen this movie? That's another thing. Now, I'm not going to be one of those guys who hates it for every single instance, but a lot of this movie, I don't know how much was it used, but it didn't really look like it was used a lot. And we don't need something to be an entire film covered in green screen, because at that point, it just feels like you're just not really watching an actual movie anymore. It kind of takes me out of the element nowadays. There's so much of it. I feel like you lose that feel that we once had with these movies, where you could see like the actual land and air and just like actual things around the world. Now it's just like it's a fake world now. So
well, I think this movie was filmed in a way that they used a lot smaller scale of sets than it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think this was probably filmed on a bunch of sound stages.
I got a note from that. Did you know one of the footage of the attack in helicopters is from King Kong 1976?
I mean, I can believe it. They use footage like that.
Yeah, that was in one of my notes when I was looking it up. So I was like,
oh, that's good. That's good.
And why were all the stalkers like fat and out of shape?
Oh,
no.
I'm serious. I mean, they were all like totally out of shape.
Yeah, look at Dynamo. I mean, the actor that played him died at the age of 34 just after making this film of a heart attack.
Oh, so did he really?
Yeah, he was a real opera singer. They weren't actually that well in shape, were they? You're right.
No,
he had a big belly and he was trying to pull off that like tank top with the fishnets over to look all badass,
with the lights on it.
Very 80s. That was Dynamo, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Jim Brown was in the movie too. So
yeah, see, oh man, see, once again, the who's who list is it's incredible. Like you look at all these wonderful performances, like wow. All right, here.
David Serda's got a good point. The Stalkers never really had any real competition in previous episodes. This is the first time they'd had a real challenge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nick, do you have the thing that Mark sent you to put up there?
Oh, this is just a quick clip.
Okay, I'm just trying to cover your back, brother.
No, appreciate it.
No,
well, you didn't share audio.
No, you're right. I didn't.
Yeah.
I boomered it.
Boomer.
Hold it. I will make that right. Stop it. I'm sorry. Yes. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Jed. Go over some interesting things. Well, I make that right.
In real life, Arnold Schwarzenegger hated Richard Dawson on screen, but in real life, they were lifelong friends.
Oh.
They knew each other for real, and they were really good friends.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's strange though. I mean, why would he hate him on screen?
Well, when he had to make it look real.
You had to make it believable. Yeah, he had to make it look believable.
They were really good friends, so he had to make it look believable that he hated him. But so
it sold me, man. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what,
they both acted like they hated one another in the movie. So
I'll be back.
You know, I never knew that Richard Dawson was actually a Brit until years later. He's actually British. He became an American citizen in '84, but born and brought up in Britain. And he married, way back in the day, he married Diana Dors, who was like the British Marilyn Monroe, supposedly, for a while. Blonde, large-chested, very, very attractive when she was younger. So he kind of hit the jackpot.
I love the pause before Killian answers. Right, Agent Decibel? That pause.
You can tell he's like processing. Is this guy just threatening me? Is this guy threatening me? All in a rerun, buddy.
And then talks here. They were, wait for it, acting. Oh, it wasn't a self-insert.
It's something you don't see nowadays. It's called acting. It's a lost art, you know.
Try acting, dear boy. Try acting.
Yeah.
Try acting. So okay, so I found some interesting like things on the IMDb about this movie, and once again we're gonna share this little sucker here. So it said here, this film is set in 2019. However, it would be very unlikely anyone would still have a closet filled with cassette tapes.
I don't know about that, Nick. I'm not sure about that.
Well, they had like discs, like mini discs, like looking things with their files on it.
Yes.
Well, we did have those mini discs at one time, but nobody used them, and then just went out of style.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a short run for those things.
Yeah, they were. They didn't stay around that long.
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't.
It was too soon after CD, and people had heavily adopted CDs, so it was kind of too soon. And then CD didn't really have anywhere to go until streaming, obviously, and like MP3s. But then,
yeah. Have you seen that Sonny's Rock Fans Closet?
Yes.
More than
you know, I very rarely come out of it.
Wow, did you guys know that the last thing that Dawson did, was Running Man as an actor?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He didn't. No. I don't think he liked the fact that he was the villain.
What? He did it
somewhere.
That's wrong with being a good villain. Jeez, what's wrong?
He was a good villain.
He was an extremely good one.
I'm aware of the fact that like his fans who were very invested in him as an actor weren't a fan of him being a villain because they were so used to him being like this good guy. We're like, hey, we like you from Family Feud, and now they're just kind of like, I know they weren't like they're kind of like, well, big what the fuck about it, but. Man, I didn't think he would have been like, oh, man, I don't know if I like being the villain. I could imagine him come on, you're going to tell me he didn't have fun saying that line back at all. You want to talk about the ultimate comeback to I'll Be Back? He literally did the one great comeback to that.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Only in the...
he died way later than I thought, because who was the host of Family Feud that killed themselves?
Oh... I see his face, but I don't remember his name.
Because I was thinking it was Richard Dawson, but he died in 2012.
Yeah, he was a white guy that he was kind of chunky a little bit. Get a plump face. I don't remember his name. Ray Combs. Joe just said it. Ray Combs.
Sup, Dark Shadow Logan. Ray Combs. There we go. Just Joe 47 coming in hot with Ray Combs. Toxic Man Flu with Joey Fatoni. All right, so we had another one here. Sub-Zero is misspelled Zub-Zero on the bet takers' chalkboard throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, if you go and look at some of the chalkboards, things are misspelled and stuff. So I was like,
well, do you think that's a play on how maybe uneducated everybody was?
Yeah,
they talked about not having rules.
You were looking at the New Romans. That was bred in circuses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. There's another one here that was really funny about when Killian is at the entrance to the control room, the gate opens before Sven has finished entering the security code. So he literally he didn't even need the code to actually open it. It just did. Too good. Too bloody good.
Yeah, the guy that was running the gate behind the scenes opened it too early, and that's what happened. Because I actually got to talk to somebody that worked on this like maybe 10, 15 years ago, and I asked them about that. And they said, yeah, it's this kid that was backstage was helping out, and he did it too early, and they're like, well, okay, just go with it.
Oh, dude, guys, this one's funny. The video scoreboard shows footage that occurs later in the film. I did not notice that.
I was watching that because I rewatched the movie today. And I saw that like all like them being drugged by the dirt bike and all kinds of stuff.
Oh man, that is too funny. Oh my god, too good. Yeah. Crew equipment visible when in the ice rink. Weiss is pushed along by Sub-Zero towards the camera. Just as Weiss almost hits the camera, an arm reaches out from the left-hand side to catch him. Bro.
Dude, if you go and look, there were a lot of mistakes in the movie Goofs that if you look hard enough, you can catch them.
Well, here's another photo. When Arnie ran for the gummy bear of Candy Cornea, he rode in a campaign bus and named it after this film. I get it, because he was the running man.
That's funny.
Hilarity ensued.
He did so Arnold did that Arnold scream so many times in this movie, especially like with the helicopter. Like for what reason?
Even that opening scene when he's on the plane and they push back at him for trying to not get taught. He's like down
get to the chopper.
I'm in the chopper. Don't throw me out of the chopper.
See, he didn't even need to get to it. He was already there. Yeah, see,
Someone finally taught him to fly the chopper.
Yeah, but was that like his first mission? I mean, he's worked for this tyrannical dictatorship for how long, and he's never been put in a situation.
They said it in the movie. He's worked for very I think they said 10 years.
Yeah, so in 10 years, he's never been asked to kill a civilian.
That's what I was wondering too, because they said he worked for a long time. And I was like, okay.
You're overthinking it.
Yeah, you're making too much sense. Oh, the Nerdporial life.
Well, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, probably because the situations he's been in, he probably had justified in his mind. Where this was a food riot where he was sitting into, and they basically told him mow him down. He's like, no, these people just want food.
They just want food.
Yeah, if this was like people like looting a store or whatnot, it'd probably be a different situation.
It shares certain thematic elements with Demolition Man in that respect.
Yeah, it does.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, once again, another movie with great similarities. So the Nerdporial life for $3. Does Arnold say I'll be back in this movie? Oh, he does.
Yeah.
And Dino is the same actor who played Grossberger in Stir Crazy. R.I.P. Oh,
yes,
and
right.
Yaphet or Kodo from Alien is here too. Hey, Lighthead. Hey, Christmas tree. Foreshadowing jingle all the way, I guess. That's true. It did. And Dark Shadow Logan here with this great comment. Arnold groaned and moaned so much in this movie, Stallone was concerned, so he had for copyright. Thanks for that. $3. Oh, that was ridiculous. So this is an interesting one. So this movie was originally scheduled to come out in the summer of '87, around July, and it was moved back 4 months by TriStar to avoid competition with Predator.
He was going to go up against his own movie, so they had to fix it where he wasn't going up against his own movie.
Oh, dude, this one takes a cake here. Richard Dawson only agreed to be in this film provided he was not expected to use any profanity in his dialogue. What?
But he did, though, didn't he?
Did he?
Now I have to go back and rewatch this. I got a Cinemax subscription for a week to watch this.
Okay. Because no, it's one of those things. I'm like, oh man, I don't remember that part, like or any parts where he was swearing. Now I think about it, I think that there may be some truth to that. Like,
you know what? He calls the janitor an asshole as he's getting into the elevator.
Oh yeah, the one he complimented at first, right? The one he complimented at first.
He's like, "What's your name? You're doing a good job." And he goes into the elevator. He's like, "I want you to burn that fat asshole mopping the floor. You're going to be mopping it for the rest of the week."
Oh man. Okay, we got another classic coming. Brace yourself.
Hey, Christmas tree.
There's that lie.
I like the what Amber says to Dynamo, because there's nothing funny about a dickless moron with a battery up his ass.
Yeah,
that's a good line. Yeah, why aren't you laughing? Because he's giving her shit. Dickless moron.
How about when he finds her at her like what apartment, whatever place of living, and he lit the seat. He said, "I said please," because he said to like to get
the whole bed off the ground.
Where is my brother?
He does when he's backstage. I think he tells the makeup crew to get the fuck out. Ooh, see? Now we got here. So Richard was kissing every hot chick on Fan Food, but swearing was bad. Okay. Yeah, that is kind of an inconsistency there. That is for sure.
Oh, he made out with chicks on a Family Feud, literally. So.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm looking at the profanity on this. There was 7 uses. There was 7 fucks, 6 shits, 3 goddamn, and there was bitch, hell, and damn.
Where do you go?
Pretty lightweight, really.
Yeah, how'd you find this, Dustin?
It's on Internet Movie Database under Parents Guide. It doesn't say who says them, but there's only 7 fucks in the whole movie.
Dustin, you missed the chance there. You missed a chance there to say that you watched the movie several times just to count those.
I'm not gonna lie about that.
No, I know
I'll use my lies other places.
Who would lie about their fucks? Like seriously, who does that?
Actually, I've known people that do that. So,
and we could credit the Weight Down here for finding this wonderful piece here. So we'll watch along in the chat and the panel. 1987.
In Dallas, talking about Predator, do you remember? And here we are now talking about Running Man. And at that time, I knew Running Man was coming out. And I had seen that one little clip, but I really didn't have a full idea of what it was about. So last night, as I was sitting there watching The Running Man, and as it evolved and everything, I got to thinking, my gosh, they're going to be network presidents jumping out of their penthouse towers when they see this. Because I think a lot of people are going to see this as a diatribe against television.
Well, The Running Man was not really done for that purpose, to do anything against network. Or make fun of them or whatever, although a lot of it is today already a reality that you see in the film, that whole competition for ratings and all that.
Okay, I want to put a pause on that. So he says a lot of these things were already happening. I mean, I wasn't around at that time, or at least I was just born. Can any of you guys confirm or verify that?
There was a lot of game shows in the 80s. Tons. And there were like dating. There was dating ones. There were all kinds.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. They had a ton of them back then. There was some crazy ones. I remember it. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I mean, there's a whole game show network where you can watch all the old ones now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called
Game Show Network, GSN.
They have Game Show Network, but you also have the one that's on Pluto TV.
Well, that's still a thing, Game Show Network.
So...
All right. Well, let's carry on then.
But it's just an idea that you say, okay, let's assume this is happening. Let's assume there's an economic disaster in a future time, let's say 2013 or 19 or whenever it happened. And the networks are competing against each other for ratings. The government is involved, and they are actually paying the networks in order to keep the people away from the streets, from rioting, and keep them glued to the TV set.
Keep them away from it.
Together, government, network, and dictatorship, and economic disaster. And now, what will happen with the game show like The Running Man, which is the most popular show, in order to create the highest rating? And so that's really what the purpose of this is. And then with that vehicle, entertain people, rather than making fun at the network or anything like that.
I'm going to just go past actual movie footage to get back to the interview. Here we go.
Oh, Jets Joe just said Buzzer is on. That's the other one I was talking about.
Was that
Buzzer is on the local digital channels for all game shows? Wow.
Or was it all done with mirrors and movie magic?
Yeah, both. There was a real sled that was shot down into a tunnel, and it was filmed with cameras mounted on that sled, and this way, so we can see our facial reactions.
All right.
I think theme parks missed out on a Running Man theme ride. You know what I mean?
Oh,
they could have had like
yeah.
Travel a lot of.
Oh my God! Now that you mention that, Dustin, you're right. Oh God, that's a missed opportunity right there. I would have. That reminds me of like some of those slides I always go down, those like super fast ones at the Wisconsin Dells, where they had those ones where like it's almost like you're in a pod. And you shoot straight down like super quick. It reminds me of those. I'm like, man, we need more of those in the world.
Distance in that period. It was much, much faster than any roller coaster that I've ever went through.
Pulling G-forces.
Oh, it's unbelievable, and it's scary because you know that if something happens, that your history, because it's just too fast, the speed. But that happened a lot of times in Running Man because being followed by those wild vehicles 6 feet behind you. I mean, there's no way this guy would be able to stop his car if I fall. And things like this happen. They fall, and the guy will run right over me with this wild teeth coming out, or this motorcycle jumping over this hill. You're standing right there where it lands, and you're supposed to just when before it lands, jump away from that mark and make it look like you almost were hit. So all those things are extremely dangerous. But you practice and rehearse and work it out with the stunt guys, and then sometimes it goes wrong and sometimes it goes right. So it's really a risky thing.
But fortunately, you're here to talk about it. That's the
right,
important thing. Arnold, good to see you again. I always enjoy talking with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, Arnold. He's so like calm in the interviews, just like, yes, we just made the movie. It was no big deal. We just do these things. It's just fun, It's fun.
Another thing that I noticed too, when we watching this movie today, they were using wide panel screens throughout a lot of the TV stuff. And in '87, that wasn't a normal thing. So like the flat, appeared to be like flat panels on the wall. They were 16:9 aspect ratio.
Crap, you're right.
That's interesting.
That's how you knew they had that back then, but they just weren't letting the public have it.
Maybe because I mean the first time I saw anything dealing with like a widescreen flat like a plasma screen was a Philips commercial, and they were like in this little tiny like beach hut, and they hung it on the wall. And I remember looking it up, and it was like $27,000 or something. Like that.
So,
bro,
did anybody ever have the one that it had the blue, red, and yellow, or the green, and it projected onto the TV? My friend had that.
Projectors.
And I used to go to my friend's house. We used to watch movies over his with the laser discs and stuff on that all the time.
So does anyone here know the body count on this one? Did anyone get that or no? Because I have the number. I actually did get that number. 41.
Yeah.
Really?
41.
The civilians at the beginning. That must include the civilians.
I don't know.
No boobies.
No boobies.
Oh, you're right. This movie was nude free, man.
Well, you did have a lot of skinny outfits.
Hey, Bruce Lombardo. Congrats, bud. What's up, man? Congrats on 300, dude. Party on, Wayne. Or party on, Bruce, in this case.
Raider's awesome, man.
Dick's Division, man. We got dicks all over in the chat. Thank you, guys. Show yourself everywhere. Love seeing all your dicks everywhere. No.
And don't forget, we have the Dick's Division merch.
Yes. No, please. Eric K, if you're out there, please plug in the Dick's merch. I want so we can get everyone to get their shirt, get their mugs, get your socks. Yeah, there's socks too,
so,
right?
Yeah, somebody actually bought a pair of socks today. I thought that was kind of
funny. T-shirt's not good enough for them.
Out of all the things I put on there, I don't know why I put the socks on there, but I did. And yeah, somebody bought it.
Well, comics, you can't keep a good dicks down, so you know.
but none of the VagGuard, can't talk.
Really?
VagGuard merch has sold.
Oh, give it some time. Give
it
some time.
Will sell.
The Vag will show. Yeah. The Vag will show. And for the guard will be strong with the Vag. You just need some time. That's all you need, comics. Oh yeah, I just realized. I just kind of pieced it together. Both Arnold and Jesse were both governors at one point because Jesse was in Minnesota. I think that was 98 through 02 or 03.
Something like that.
And then Arnold was definitely 03 because of the recall of Gray Davis. And he went into 07, 08, I think like that. Because then he got back into movies right around the time when he was doing Expendables, right? I think it was right around Expendables. That seems like the one I remember because that's when he appeared in that cameo, and they're like, "Oh, what's his deal? Oh, he just wants to be president."
Well, that means that he and Jesse had back-to-back movies together because the Predator came out at the same time. They just had to space him out a few months. That means Jesse was in that movie with him.
And there was also a conversation where they were talking about, if anybody can find it, they were talking about being governors at the same time. It was
2011.
Too.
And the only reason why he didn't continue is because of term limits.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Vote for whoever I want.
That boy's one me. I love this one.
No audio.
Do what I want.
I did it again. So I thought I actually clicked it this time. So forgive me. I know. I boomered it. I'll admit it. I boomered it.
Well, you're worse than me on the last Sunday stream.
Sometimes it really be like that, Jed.
Yeah, I know it is because you've seen some of the shit shows we've had on Sunday. So
it's all good.
Richards.
Yeah.
That boy's one mean motherfucker.
I love it when old people cuss, dude. I'm gonna be old one day. I mean, I'm old now. I just turned 42, and so I'm old now. But I should know everything.
No, you know enough, Dustin. But oh my god, just that old lady. Because it's funny because in that scene you see as the first kill he was Sub-Zero, if I remember right. The first kill was Sub-Zero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because going into that whole arena venue, whatever it was, everyone hated him. But as he started, getting more victories and kills, the crowd was starting to turn. Kind of reminded me of Rocky IV. Kind of how he went to Russia, he was kind of booed. Yeah. All of a sudden, as he started taking down Drago, then Drago's like, it's like Iron. Why are they cheering for him? This is kind of like that, except that's with Dawson in this movie. He's just like, why are they cheering for him? You can't vote for him. And grandma here is just like, I can vote for whoever I want. I can do it. I can do what I want. I love it. She was just she was spaz attack about it. She's like, oh man, go grandma.
And that kill
for the real hero.
Nick, that kill with Sub-Zero was brutal with the barbed wire.
Oh, yeah. That was great.
Dude, the kill with Sub-Zero. But not only was the kill brutal, but the line itself was even more brutal because it led to one of the greatest quotes in history.
And they both slapped each other's hands and did a high five.
All right, here comes one of the greatest moments in cinema history.
Here is Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero.
Wow! He showed him.
Never
He
gets old.
showed him.
He was practicing for Batman, okay?
Nope.
There's no way that line was scripted. You don't write that line like, yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah, you should say that. That's definitely the one that was totally winging it, which is fine. I don't care. However it came. There's just, and technically that's an upgrade because when you're sub, you're a negative. So he went to plane zero as a positive. Can you imagine Arnold like look at the dialogue like, this sounds good. I should say this. What do you think?
Is it like a lot of his one-liners ad-libbed?
I've heard.
I don't know if Arnie's an ad-lib kind of guy. I don't know if Arnie's really an ad-libber. I think he works things out quite a bit.
My favorite dialogue in the movie is fairly early on, before they even pick Arnold, and it's Killian and his secretary going back and forth.
Yeah.
Eddie, she says something about, what about the bank robbers who had a suicide pact? And Killian just goes, well, did they commit suicide? And she goes, obviously not. He goes, well, then they're unreliable.
I love that.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You know,
I remember watching the movie and thinking that limo was so awesome when it pulled in. Then I watched it today and I'm like, man, it looks like a piece of shit.
Oh, man.
It's I was reading the Roger Ebert review of the movie, and he seemed to think that Killian was played as 3/4 drunk all the way through the movie. So I didn't really pick up on that. He was 3/4 drunk the whole time.
Probably not wrong.
Could be, yeah.
All right, let's hope I didn't fuck this one up.
This is one of my favorite parts. Is when I was
I love this part too. Yeah.
Look at that
His face was amazing.
Great face.
See
the big guy that's playing the guard there. I'm sure we've seen him in a few other movies.
I feel like I've seen him before in something.
Yeah, he's been in some other movies.
Yeah. He also has a great one-liner too when he goes to confront Killian. I can't remember what it was.
He says, he's like, I've got to go look for steroids.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I got to score some steroids or something like that.
Yeah, that's what. Because I watched it with the subtitles on. And because there was a lot of things when I was a kid that I would hear that I didn't understand what they were saying. So going back, I watch all these. I mean, I watch most things now with subtitles, but because even with a sound bar, like dialogue is so low and everything else is so loud.
Mm-hmm. All right, I want to play this one. Like, don't forget the
copy.
So Sven Ole Thorson was the guard.
Don't forget this. Cardinal Sin coming in hot with $3 toward the pizza and the beer fund. Thank you, Cardinal Sin. I appreciate that. And thank you for hanging out. I know, guys, by the way, Cardinal Sin was supposed to be around, but he's had some computer issues. So he cannot be around for the streams and stuff. So Cardinal Sin, hopefully that stuff gets situated for you as soon as you can. All right, buddy. And wait down. I feel like we had some. Yeah, you got anything you want to add to us? I know you've been in your corner. Come out. Are you alive?
I'm chilling, man. I'm always.
You're chill. Yeah, you're being chilling. A villain. What did you want to add to this?
I don't know. I feel like I've thrown my 2 cents on the pile. I had a thought earlier that I never got out, but I don't remember what it was now.
Well, you know, when you think of it, it is okay. He's just like, nope, I won't. Nope, it ain't gonna happen. Fine, it won't be like that. Oh, held up, Dweezil Zappa, son of legendary singer Frank Zappa. So not Frank Zappa.
Wait,
Frank Zappa was already dead.
Dweezil Zappa's his son. So we were talking about Sven just before we moved too far. He's been in 11 or more Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah. What? Really? What other movies was he in?
Yeah. He's in Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, Red Sonja, Raw Deal. He's been in Predator, Running Man. Let's see, Red Heat, Twins.
Oh wow!
He's in Terminator 2, Last Action Hero.
Cool.
I'm catching up here.
No, it's okay. So this was the final film of Richard Dawson, for sure.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
was
it
definitely
was.
the final. Yeah, so okay, I know we talked about it earlier, and here's where it gets interesting. So Dolph Lundgren and Christopher Reeve expressed interest in being the star of the movie, and even Patrick Swayze was considered. I'm trying to imagine. I can't imagine Reeve just because he'd just be. Is at that point he's already
like
synonymous with
Superman.
Superman.
Yeah, he's Superman.
He's Superman. He's too nice. He's just like he's got a good manner to, which is fine, but it's just he's Superman. Like it doesn't make sense to go from that to Ben Richards. It just it doesn't line up.
You see, I don't know about Swayze. I could possibly have seen Kurt Russell, but not Swayze.
I could see Kurt Russell. I could definitely see Kurt Russell.
Kurt can deliver. Kurt could have delivered some of those lines. He's got the.
Oh my god, he got that
delivery.
gruff voice too. He got the gruff voice too, and he's got the attitude. He's got the swag too.
Yeah, he could have pulled off that solid yellow jumpsuit.
That's right.
well, on the alternate Earth, Kurt Russell is probably the Running Man. So.
Oh man, no, I'm not. I'm glad you mentioned in that sense because I can I'm imagining Dolph Lundgren in his Ivan Drago voice with his non-Russian super blonde hair with that Russian accent.
He's even less likely to be someone called Ben Richards. I mean, it's
he would. I would have called him Yellow Gumby because remember we were talking about Red Heat. Belushi kept calling Arnold Gumby. Because of his blue green tux. Dolph Lundgren would have just been Yellow Gumby because of how super yellow that suit was.
I mean, they nicknamed him in the show the Butcher of Bakersfield. They could have called him the Banana of Bakersfield.
Whoa, Bruce Lombardo, the Dick's Division with $6. Here's some money for some 40s, my buddy. Bruce Lombardo, thank you. Thank you very much. And Jesus Christ, there's almost 40 of you in here. You guys are crazy! Man, thank you guys.
So why was that Richard Dawson's last movie? I can't find anybody commenting on that online. It's maybe he was never offered anymore.
Maybe just retired.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't incredibly old at that point.
I mean, did he do a bunch of movies before this? I didn't look up his Internet Movie Database, but I'm still digging in the spin.
It was mainly TV, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Macmillan.
Oh, there was an Easter egg in the movie for his role in The Love Boat too.
Yeah, really, his main gig was, which a lot of us remember, was Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 180 episodes or something of that he did. Incredible amount of work. Great show. Because he was in that as a Brit, so he got the Royal Air Force guy part. So.
About that part where Arnold goes to get the monitor and he rips it. He's like, I live to see you with that contract, and I'm gonna rip your goddamn spine. That whole he read on. I was just like, are you like? Once again, there are certain things. It just makes me like, do directors just like let Arnold run free with what he says? Like, I have a hard time imagining that they're like, well, I can't say no to Arnold. What if he doesn't like it? I can't say no to him. Can you imagine directors being like afraid almost?
Oh, this is a great line.
Oh yes.
Now remember, I can break your neck like a chicken's.
I also want to say he said a line like that in other movies. I just can't remember.
Oh God! When you think about how all the one-liners, God, this movie, there's quite a few. It's just how quotable movies were. Like just all these endless lines that just have you laughing again and again. And even when we've all have seen these movies countless numbers of times, yet here we are coming back to them again and again, and still being equally as entertained from the first time we saw him. That says a lot about a flick. When you get, especially with comedy, like there are some times where something's not as funny, like it's still funny, but it's one of those things where you don't have that first time excitement. But these lines, you still get that, like, that's so ridiculous. Like, God,
because they're actually good. I mean, even like it seems like the worst movies that came out in the 80s are kind of better than what we're seeing today, which is kind of sad.
Howard the Duck, my brother. I love Howard the Duck.
And that's a very good example of a terrible movie.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I seem to remember when I first watched this, I thought it was magnificent, and I thought I thought it had done better commercially than it appears to have. Looking at some of the numbers online, it doesn't seem to have made that much money, and yet I seem to remember it being a big movie. So that's maybe.
I had them all on VHS, so like I had all the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies on VHS. So I never really went to the movies too much unless it was something that my grandma took us to, like Benji or the Ninja Turtles or whatever, right? I never went to see action flicks like this too much.
Yeah.
Not until I was old enough, like high school, to go on my own. But I had all these movies on VHS. So I never really knew like how popular a movie was versus wasn't. Because I mean, I've been quoting this movie forever, like, hey, Christmas tree. And I'm like, I don't really care if you know what I'm saying.
No, Dustin, when I see you at like maybe Black Dahlia in September, I just want you to like find me for notes and be like, hey, Christmas tree. That's how that's how I expect you to find me at Black Dahlia Murder in September.
If you look at it, there isn't really any dialogue in the movie. It's just one-liners. There's no real dialogue. It's just one-liners. It's just comprised of one-liners. It's great.
And then like the unspoken language, like in the scene that we're getting ready to see here, where he goes and lifts this weight bench up and it rips the floor up, and she's like, oh, okay. You're like, but what the fuck? Who does that?
That's right.
I do that because I say.
And then in Twins, he lifts the fucking car up.
Oh, I think this scene right here is what made her like get into him. So she's like, oh, she tied him up. So
yeah.
But why should I?
That's the
because I'm going to say, please.
That's hilarious.
That's so good.
There's not many actors can deliver those lines like Arnie. I mean, you could talk about putting other actors in the role, but I don't know what it is. He just delivers them with such conviction.
I don't see any other actors pulling that off. I don't see Swayze being like, because I said please. You know what I mean?
That's right. You couldn't do that. Yeah.
I realized way down earlier he sent me the link about that in private chat. He called, I can't remember her name, but he called her Discount Salma Hayek, and I thought that was a very actually oddly fitting description. Discount Salma Hayek.
That's how she's written in my notes. Discount bin Salma Hayek.
Yeah. So I'm not the only person that watches movies and goes, "There's a discount so and so," and that person there's a discount so and so. I do that too.
To be fair,
a lot of Spanish movies, this guy,
you know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Wake Down.
Oh, I was just gonna say, to be fair, I have Killian in my notes as Fat Bob Iger.
Fat Bob Iger.
You're doing Iger too much justice, I think, comparing him to Killian.
So we all know, obviously, a lot of these guys, they had their over-the-top entrances. They basically had the whole WWF thing going on with them, all having their unique intros. But Buzzsaw here had a very notable, brutal death to a point where Arnold and him were kind of like having that standoff with the saw and trying to like not get sawed. And Arnold kind of did the turns like, yeah, and then all of a sudden that happened. And then, obviously Buzzsaw gets split in half. And then we had the wonderful line here that changed everything about what happened to Buzzsaw.
What happened to Buzzsaw?
He had the split.
That's got to rival like some of the Commando best lines in Commando. That one.
Seriously, like
the split.
Well, in the beginning when he's getting to that fight at that like factory. You remember that opening scene where he's getting to a fight at that factory? You guys remember that?
Yeah, prison breakout.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a prison breakout. So he gets in that fight. And before he picks up one of the guys and throws him over, he looks at him and he's like, would you like a lift? And then he throws him over.
So like that prison fight, I was curious, like when they started rioting, why didn't they just blow their heads off?
Right?
I thought about that
that's
too.
That's a good point.
Isn't that exactly what those collars are for?
No, I think we're supposed to ask that question, but
Yeah, I think it's only for keeping them within the perimeter. I don't know.
Because if they went past it, they would just, like that one guy, his head blew off. So.
Oh man, no, seriously. Like, it was just like, I remember watching. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that guy. Right? He just tosses him like he's a bag of potatoes. And he just it just does that. So okay, so this movie takes place from the years 2017 to 2019. How many similarities can we count of things that have happened like from then to now? So obviously we know with the altering of footage, lying on mainstream media, we got people rooting for the state for power. Can you guys name anything else?
Well,
Chad, you can go on too.
There is one I can think of at the very beginning or near the beginning when Killian calls the Justice Department and asks for the entertainment division.
I'm your court appointed. What do you say? I'm your court appointed agent.
Yes, that's right.
Also, whenever he's trying to get Arnold on the show, he calls the president's agent.
That's right. He's got an agent. Yeah. But this is all very close to the
I think Demolition Man and Running Man are too close for comfort right now.
Man, they really are, man.
Yeah, both those movies are too close, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, your Cardinal's sitting here with the deepfakes, and Bruce Lombardi here. Swayze could look buff, but he was never strong like Franco Columbo or Ferrigno Arnold. And, we say that, but here's the thing, because Dustin here, he recommended to me Roadhouse, which obviously we covered last week. I did not watch that movie until he recommended it to me. I was a super late bloomer to it. And I remember going into it thinking, I like Patrick Swayze, but is he really going to pull off a flick like this? Like, can he really do that? But surely enough, after watching it, I'm like, okay, he's got the leading strongman thing going on. I didn't even think he could do that. Cardinal sitting here. In the future, all restaurants are Taco Bell.
Oh, here's another one. The little exchange between Mick Fleetwood and Dweezil Zappa, where Mick says to him, "Mr. Spock, you have the con," and Dweezil goes, "Who's Mr. Spock?" Because he don't know who she is. Who's Mr. Spock? Showing how old Mick is.
Michael Asad here. Taco Bell won the franchise wars.
They did.
Yeah.
So if Taco Bell, if every restaurant's Taco Bell, that means every trip to the bathroom's an emergency.
As if they're, and then, does that mean they probably buy their toilet paper in Costco size bulk, which is fitting because idiocracy.
No, you just get the seashells, dude.
But remember, it's all vegetarian food now because even eating red meat is bad for you.
Shit.
Oh no, it's okay.
But you saw how small those little plates were when they had it in the movie. He's like, "Where's the real food?" Like,
because in this movie as well, the audience, they believe everything television and the government tell them. So how real.
I'm not gonna put line for this.
That?
I'm just gonna give you guys have a little toxicity here. That's all. And see, toxicity right there. For all wonderful toxic males, and if the females are into it too, there's your toxicity right there. Toxic. So I'll give you guys a little. I just wanted to tease you guys. I know I want all the guys that have a chubby over in the chat about it. Oh, we would have had an intense.
It takes more than that these days.
No, we would have had a super hard Dick's Division chat. Super hard. I'm just saying, you're fined 3 credits for violating the verbal morality code. Oh my God, Michael Asylum, right? The whole morality code. I mean, I can't remember if there's definitely nothing of like thought crime. Well, I wouldn't say there was thought crime, but if people thought he was doing one thing versus another one, that when the real footage was released of the whole incident from the beginning and the end of the movie of what really happened. I wouldn't call it thought crime, but it's just like, God, nowadays it's so common to see footage being manipulated, whether it's like a skin alteration or just chopping things up to make someone look bad, which could be up to and including anyone and everyone. but go ahead.
I wanted to say, comics. Do you remember that guy that when all those riots were happening, that guy that plowed through with the truck, and the way they cut it made it look like it was different, but then the real cut came on Twitter, and everybody was going nuts about it. It was
that's the example I use all the time of the guy driving the 18-wheeler through the crowd, not plowing through the crowd, but just trying to drive his truck. And the way they spin on the media is that they're saying his truck was out of control when it came to a stop, and that the protesters rushed in to see if he was okay. And then you see the raw footage of him being dragged out and beaten.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was totally different from what CNN and MSNBC and all those other places had.
I think I saw that was on ABC.
I never saw it. I saw on CNN and MSNBC and all those other, because my parents watch that. I don't watch that crap. Yeah. But I saw it there, and then somebody posted it on Twitter, and I was like, it was totally different than what you saw on the TV.
Okay, this is an interesting one. Many people who worked with Dawson on the game show Family Feud say that in real life, Dawson was more like his character, Killian, in his handling of underlings. Bro.
Brutal.
Bro, yeah, right?
Well, that stands to reason. That seems to be a Hollywood trait, though.
Yeah, so he's like a male Ellen DeGeneres?
A male Ellen DeGeneres. Oh, my God. So I'm going to look up these box office numbers here, because to what I know, the movie, it didn't necessarily bomb, but I guess you could say it underperformed. It eventually broke even. But if you look here, so we got opening, we'll look at by weekend here. So it's back then, obviously, money for tickets was a lot lower. So if this came out today, what 8 million would be? I don't know, 40 million, 50 million?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think here. Probably around there.
You got to go for inflation. So.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to adjust for, inflation. So at the time,
Box Office Mojo used to have the ability to show you what it would be adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, and they changed the website, and now it's like all weird.
Budget too, and the budget was 27 million and a gross of 36 million. That's not making its money back when you consider you got to make 2 or 3 times that at least.
Because of the marketing costs.
Now, as Dustin said, he had it on VHS. I think we all probably had it on VHS.
Yeah, I had it on VHS.
So it must have made its money in rentals and sales.
Yeah, it must have, because I'm looking here. I mean, unless you guys can find something here, there is nothing of an international release.
I can't believe it didn't make. I mean, I saw it in the UK and it was very popular. So I can't imagine that figure is real. It has to be much more.
Yeah, $8 million in 1987 would be today 18,900,000. So roughly 19 million.
So they would still be short compared to today's.
But here's where you could tell that it had legs at the box office, because you look here, it only took a 30% dip its second weekend. So it had legs. Yeah, and 8.5, and then you go straight into another traditional 5.2. So it had legs, so you can tell it wasn't a very popular flick, but it maintained an audience. And
we also don't know what it was competing with as well in the theaters.
Oh yeah, no, and that I'd say for what it's worth. I mean, the fact that it started off with a low opening and held on to an audience, and we don't even know what it's competing with. I'd still say there was a few victories in itself with that, because sometimes when you have heavy competition, you could get run down to the ground. And before you know it, your movie is dead on arrival just because you just came out at the wrong time. And Cardinal Sin here, man, Cardinal, I wish you were on the panel here. But thank you for your contribution. The Running Man did really well on home video.
I know, the rentals must have been huge. I mean, that's a blockbuster rental movie staple.
Oh yeah, well, I went at the video place that I used to hang out when I was younger. When that came out, that was gone. You can never get that movie at the video store. It was always gone.
Did you make it a blockbuster night, Jed?
Oh, dude, I hung out at Blockbuster and other places so much they gave me jobs because I was.
Jed still got a Blockbuster. Jed still has a Blockbuster membership.
I still have my membership card.
Speaking of Blockbuster,
and everything.
I gotta go show you guys something. Chat. Yeah, Chat away while I get this. This is great, and that's my Sub-Zero icon.
Yeah, I see that. God, I still can't believe it. It only made 38.
It doesn't seem
million?
a lot, but
Jesus.
the lack of a worldwide figure there is a bit weird.
Well, the worldwide for Running Man? No, it was 38 million.
That's the total gross worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah. And the budget was 27 million. So yeah, it barely. It probably didn't break even.
No, when you consider they usually say at least 3 times that the budget. To properly break even. I don't know. It's obviously nostalgia. I just felt at the time it was more popular than those figures would.
Well, I remember watching it like on HBO a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it a few times, and
I saw it a few times on HBO, and then the rental stores that
All
I
right,
hung out
guys.
at, it was
Brace
always
yourself.
gone.
This, so me and my missus got this, and I'm just gonna say it's pretty damn awesome, and I'm gonna zoom in.
That's
nice.
It's a towel. It's either a very wide hockey shirt or it's a towel.
like a throw.
Nice,
It's a
It's a blanket. All right, it's a blanket. Very
It's
nice.
a blanket, yeah. It's a blanket.
Do you have to take it back in a week, or can you keep it?
He's gonna pay late charges on it.
Oh man.
Hey, Nick, do you still? I still have my membership card. I still have my Blockbuster shirt, and I still have my name tag from Blockbuster too. So,
What?
yeah, I
How
used to
many
work
years were
there.
you there?
I was only there for like 2 years, so yeah.
Mutant Man. Nutbuster.
And I used to work at GameStop too. I would work there at Blockbuster in the daytime, and then I would go work at GameStop at night. So
Jed, tell me, where did you keep the special movies, Jed? You know, the special movies. Where were they?
Oh yeah, okay. Get this: when the special movies there at Blockbuster and stuff, and other places, they would throw them out to get you wrecked. I was like, hey. They were like, "Hey, Jed, you want these?" I was like, "Okay."
All right, D-Bud Martin, my friend D-Bud. This is online. It is very findable. I think it may even be on like something if you want convenient, like Amazon or something. But otherwise, there are other websites that have it. Also, I did find on some weird website they also have Blockbuster Video phone cases too. So the Blockbuster Video merch is out there.
That's really random.
Real, my friend.
It is.
It's random, but the thing is, my girlfriend, she was obsessed with Blockbuster too. Like, it's funny because before I got a city, which I'm glad I did, looking back, I lived right by a video rental store, and it was just called Video. A few years ago, I remember I'm like, I'm going to go inside and rent a movie. I haven't done that since 1999. And here I am in 2017. I should go and do this. I go inside. I see like the big liters of soda. I see the popcorn bags. And I see, I'm like, whoa, it was like total like blast from the past at the start. I think there was one worker in there. It was totally weird. I was just like,
There's something great about that trip, the trip to the video rental store, though, the Friday night trip where you'd get 5 movies. And the 4th and 5th one were something you didn't really know what they were going to be because you were down to the weird stuff.
Yeah, if you ever came to the Blockbuster where I was at, you would always see me there on Friday and Saturday, and everybody knew me because they're like, "Hey, Jed, you got any movies for us as well?" I was like, "Yeah, brother, right over there." And then he was like, "Okay, cool." And like, I love that, and I still have the Blockbuster stickers. I have a whole roll of those still. Those are super hard to get a hold of.
I remember those.
You can't get those no more. So
no,
I mean that's like the thing that the problem that I find now with streaming services and such is when we sit down to try to watch a new TV show or a movie, it's like we're going and I know that there's an app on like streaming, like Amazon has it and your phone has it. It's called Just Watch. And you go and you plug in all the streaming services that you pay for, and then you can like search. It'll show you like across all the platforms what you can watch. But it's still so hard to pick something out. I don't know, maybe it's just us, but like we struggle to find shows.
We're the same, Dustin. We're the same. Yeah.
I would
that comes from.
I would go into Blockbuster on like Friday nights when they got all the new stuff, and I'm just sit there for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, what am I going to take home tonight? There was so much there. So
age-old problem, man. 1,000 channels and there's nothing on.
Yeah.
Well, I think when I was younger, I would be more down to watch just about anything. And as I've gotten older, I'm more particular in what I watch.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I
be like that. No, Dark Shadow Logan here. Things to remember too. VHS tapes were expensive then, and rental stores were big then. And rental store had 12 or more of a film. Yeah, that's true. I remember like my parents being like, "Wow, this movie's like $25." Like for as far as purchasing, an actual copy. Yeah. They're like, this is a very expensive thing to buy nowadays. That's just like, that's nothing. And
well, the crazy thing, a crazy thing about VHS, like before buying like home video sales really took off. Like, say, I remember seeing an ad in the paper for Terminator 2 on VHS, and it was $99.
What?
Yeah. There was also a bunch of people that would rip it from the studio and actually slip copies to people too. I had a bunch of friends that did that to me too.
Well, I mean, that still happens with screeners.
Yeah. So,
bro, what?
Yeah, VHS tapes were 90 mothers or more. Like they were at one. I remember when we were looking at Blockbuster, some of the VHS movies, they were like $50, $60 sometimes.
Because they knew that a majority of people were going to go rent them and not collect them. Then when the collector market started to open up, then that's when they became $24.95 for the like the suggested retail price was $24.95, but you could pick it up at Best Buy for $13.
Yeah,
bro.
The one when they were 90 is when the VHS first came out. They were super expensive. The Wrath of Khan was like $75, $80 just to get one copy of the VHS. I remember that because my dad and me went to the store to buy it the first day it came out.
Okay. Who remembers the movie Fortress, 1992?
Oh, I remember.
I watched it. I've seen it.
Arnold was offered a role also as a prison inmate in Fortress, which also takes place as the same year as The Running Man, which is also in 2017. So obviously he didn't end up doing Fortress, just a little, once again, connecting the dots type of thing. I was like, huh. And okay, so the body count is like this. 32 confirmed, 14 by Richards, 2 by Amber. There is also an unidentified number killed in the massacre.
That's what I was wondering.
They said it at one point. It was 60-something people.
Yeah, they said 60-something. So
I think they said 66.
3 former contestants who were claimed as survivors of the show but killed before the film's events. Hot dog.
It was the 3 that they said that went on a vacation. So
yeah.
In the scene after
last season's losers.
I know.
Oh my god. In the scene after the prisoners remove their neck house, Schwarzenegger says that he is not interested in politics. He's interested in survival. That line was foreshadowing, since he ended up being the gummy bear of the Candy Cornia world. Oh my god! You know what? Right? Now here's the thing. Now, if this movie came out today in 2021, let's just say it didn't come out in the 80s. Like, if it come out today, let's just say somehow it did good, and it was good, and we had the enjoyment and of the quality of it today. You already know they would probably be talking about spinoff. They would be talking about maybe giving prequels to Killian. They'd probably make a Killian movie. That's a Killian spinoff, like before he was Killian type of thing. Like they probably do like some HBO Max miniseries, like we need a Killian spinoff to show you.
I mean, these days, I would rather see like a 10-episode season of a good story than see some like half-ass movie.
God, nowadays a lot of movies like they feel like trailers to the movie. It's like we watch like a 2-hour long trailer nowadays, And to address this comment earlier, New Bomb Target, I mean, yes, Redbox does exist. I'm very well aware. But the whole gist is it's about being surrounded in that atmosphere where you're surrounded by the movies, you're surrounded by the popcorn, the liters of soda. It is just, there's something about being in that environment, whereas obviously Redbox is cool. You have a machine you can go up to, but also it was nice also get recommendations from whoever was working at the counter too, and just have that conversation. You always, you'd always. I remember like the Blockbuster I go to. It was a really cool store, and the workers there are super cool and always were down for a good conversation on.
Oh yeah, I used to love that when people would come in and talk about movies at Blockbuster. Everybody would always pick me up because they're like, "Oh, what did you see this week?" And did muck up everything I seen, and then all the new rentals and all the other stuff. And they're like, I did that at GameStop too. They're like, everybody would send them to me. Like, I was just like, well, yeah, I don't, what genre do you like? And what do you like? And I'm like, well, you'll like this, this, and this. And then they would come back like the next night or so. They're like, Jed, thank you. That movie was awesome. I was like, no problem.
So, did you ever have one where they're like, how dare you, Jed?
Yeah, there was a couple sometimes. They're like, I was like, okay. And then I was like, you know what? I'll give you a free rental, brother. Go pick another one out. He was like, okay. So.
Wow.
Well, that's part of what's missing is the social aspect.
Yes, the social aspect is a huge thing. And that's what, I mean, obviously, I don't want to assume that like New Bond's maybe like an introvert. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But I obviously people don't like interacting with other people, but I do miss that particular experience of it was the interacting, because sometimes you'd even bump to a customer, like, you'd be looking at like the same shelf area.
Yeah.
And then like you'd be looking at a movie, like the guy over he's like, hey, you want to watch that movie? You're like, yeah. Okay.
Or you're like standing there, Nick, and there's like one copy left, and you're just waiting to see who grabs it first. Like,
oh god,
yeah.
And there's the sudden death moments. Like there's the one copy there. You'd be on one side of the aisle, the air customer, and you both wanted the same exact movie. Usually, it's like a new release, and there's that one copy left over.
One copy of Howard the Duck left, and you both wanted it.
Well, seriously, there was fights in Blockbuster on Friday nights or Friday and Saturday nights because people would come in there drunk. They'd get a movie and go home.
I remember trying to convince the people behind the counter to dig through the drop bins. Can you look and see if somebody returned one?
Oh, dude, Dustin, you don't know how many times I heard that at Blockbuster. Seriously. I'm like, dude, there's nothing in there. One just came in. Yeah, it was for something else, and we already put it out. It wasn't what you wanted, dude.
Well, now there's like group streaming. Yeah. And I know I've seen it like on Facebook and stuff, and I know that you can like get together with people who live across the country and stream a movie together and watch it all at the same time. I don't know if there'd be a way to do it with like with something like we're doing now. I don't know.
Well, you can do it on Discord. You can do it on Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that on Discord just last night.
Yeah, I was in there last night, but I had to piss off because I was doing something else. But I was like, hey, I just wanted to pop in and say hi, guys. So
this is another. I'm glad Logan's here. Sometimes you could get into conversations about movies like people would talk in comic shops. Yeah, and that's another good one because you would spend time debating movies the way when I spent time at comic shop debating movies. Oh yeah, all the time, and it was fun because you had people who were so passionate about what they were into, and they would just, and everyone was so. But once again, it was just kind of like being at the comic shop. You guys would get into passionate debates, but at the end of the days, it was just how we talked. That's how much we loved.
Yeah, movies. Nick. At one time, Nick, I worked at Pop Culture. That's the reason why I named our channel that, because I actually worked at a store called Pop Culture. So I worked there, and then one of my buddies found me on the days off that I wasn't there. I'd hang out at Blockbuster and like, dude, you're here. Want a job and get paid for it? He's like, yeah. So they hired me there, and then Pop Culture closed down. And then my buddy was like, dude, you don't want to, you come over here and hang out over here. Do you want a job? So my comic book store shut down that I was the manager of. So then look, I just fell into Blockbuster and like GameStop, so I was just like happy about that. But there were so many conversations that I had with people at the pop culture and Blockbuster and even at GameStop back in the day. So I miss that a lot, you know. So
do you remember that one movie with that one guy that came out last year, Jad? Can you tell me about that movie, if it was any good or not?
Oh my God! How many times people have come and they're like, "Hey, do you have that movie with that one guy that has that one kind of hair?" And they're like, "With that one chick," and I'm like, "I would like you can
you
take
know, they
care
were
of
in that
this
other
one."
thing. They were in that other
I
thing.
was like, I would give it to the rookies, and they're over there pulling their hair out. And I'm like, I'm just over here laughing.
I'm willing to bet, Jed, that 50% of the time you knew what they were talking about and you told them what it was.
Yeah, well, sometimes they did, and I'm like, okay, it's this, and they're like, hey, how did you know it's that movie?
That's
Because
right. You just
I speak like Blockbuster ease, so I was like,
you're thinking about it. The other thing that Blockbuster and video rental in general did for us as a species was made us tougher, I think, because if you think about how many hands handled those tapes and the boxes they came in, and
yeah,
how much,
do you know
how many
we had to
germs were on
clean those things
how many
every
germs
week?
were on them?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's worried about a little bit of whatever now, and
No,
wiping everything down.
they would come back like those tapes would come back smelling foul.
What is
sometimes.
that on that
And then
tape?
sometimes, dude, this one guy had their kid, and they when they got it, there was this huge thing of bubble gum, and you know they were on the plastic block, but he threw it in the slot and it went down, and I had to get it out of the slot because they threw it in with the kid's bubble gum. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, if you think of some of the stuff that the hands.
Oh yeah,
these
there was
tapes
some
went through.
nasty stuff. And dude, this guy one time, back when they had the VHS cameras too, he turned in his home movie he did with his wife one time because you know we would. Yeah, and we were like, "What are you?" I was like, we need to call this guy and tell him he did this." And he's like, and he came down. He came down. He's like, "Judd, thank you." He's like, I can't tell you. And dude slipped me like $20. I was like, he goes, my wife would have killed me.
That was premise for a movie, though, wasn't it? Sex tape.
Yeah, it was the sex tape, the custom sex tape.
I don't know if it was all the empty boxes or the styrofoam, but old school VHS stores had a very distinctive smell. Like they all smelled the same.
They did. It's kind of like being at a comic shop. Once again, there's a unique comic book. When you open the book and there's that comic book smell, there was there was that opening the box too when you had the box. There was that scent that the
record stores too, old style vinyl record stores.
Yeah, well, GameStop had its own particular video game smell, and Blockbuster had its own movie smell, and then the comic store that I worked in had its own because of all the comics and older stuff that was in there. So that is true.
All the places we used to hang out in had smells. Yeah,
they did. They had, but I used to love it. I used to love it.
People don't even want like shaking hands to come back.
Yeah.
Now GameStop smells like depression and financial decline.
No, now GameStop's like the guy that's on life support that you knew, and you're just like, oh my God.
I don't know. I thought you could buy some. I thought buying shares in that was a good idea.
All I have to say is, man, Sven has been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. He's been in like almost every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Gladiator. He was in Gladiator.
Yeah.
And you mentioned he was in Mallrats.
Yeah, he was
LaForce.
Yeah, LaForce.
I had no idea that was him.
He's so familiar looking. He's a very familiar looking guy.
He's got that face. He had he had. I feel like he was a little. He definitely had a little additional weight from a movie. He had maybe wore like padding to make himself look like a heavier set cop. Because he had that kind of like that stereotypical like look of a cop in the 90s.
You know what? He's the guy. He's the guy that would ask Jed about whether he was in that movie or not. He'd say, "You know that guy that was in that movie?"
Okay. In 90, listen to this, 70s. At 96, when I was hanging out at the booth with Kevin and them in 96, after Mallrats just came out, he stopped by the booth and I got to talk to him for like a minute or two. And he went and pissed off and did a panel and did something else. So he really was that big.
Yeah, cool.
Well, I had a picture with me and Kevin before we both lost weight because I ran into him in Chicago at the Chicago Theater.
That's cool, dude. That's
so back when he was still funny.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Here's another one. I got a picture of Kevin and me and Stan together, all in one picture too. So.
Hot dog, dude.
Yeah, that was back when Kevin was cool, and but now he's just turned into the shell person.
I think he's still a cool dude on the inside. I mean, I think he's just kind of. I think he went total pothead vegan, which is weird.
And he went full shell. I would say, right, comics. He went full shell.
Yeah, like I said, he's a shell of his former self.
Yeah, he is.
Shell of his former self.
And I think that comes. I mean, I would think that would come with just having a lot of money, like indisposable income beyond your comprehension, kind of thing.
Yeah, probably.
As long as you're Keanu Reeves, though, because then every now and then you have a Keanu Reeves who's just like, I'm still going to be excellent, money or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think that Kevin Smith. I mean, and I obviously don't know the man, but I've met him. But I think he is. I think he's genuine when he tells you stuff. I don't think he's.
Well, he did lie about He-Man. He lied about He-Man.
Well, okay, what did he lie about He-Man? I'm looking forward to that.
No,
here's what
comics
happened, Dustin.
It's in 26.
What happened was, 2009, 2010, he was talking about he was not much of a He-Man fan.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
I remember him getting busted for that.
And all of a sudden, then he is going on his whole thing, talking about how he was always a He-Man fan. Now, the whole thing is, I don't even care if he was that big of a He-Man fan to begin with. It was just the fact that he lied about it. And, if he had come on and said, what, I was never really into He-Man, but there's something about the script that really said, I should attach myself to this project. I feel like that would be a better, more genuine response. But he went from, I was never a big fan to, I was always a fan. At one point, I felt like he was really, I guess you could say more so one of us. And I don't know if it has something to do with it. Didn't he have a heart attack a few years ago?
Yeah, he did.
But I can understand the pressures that a guy like him is under, though, in the business as it is today, having been in it years ago, and he's come up through the era now into the progressive era. He's trying to survive. He's trying not to get cancelled. He's walking that tightrope.
I mean, his whole thing was dick and
I understand it.
Oh yeah. Well, he used to be. I mean, I remember when Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back came out. There was this big controversy. Well, it wasn't that big, but basically because he made a gay joke in the movie, there was a gay rights group that went after him, and he basically was talking about how all I did was write them a check and made them go away because that's what they were after was money.
There's been gay jokes in every single movie he's done.
But you know that he's just one step ahead of being cancelled. Yeah, he's one step away from being cancelled. He knows it, we know it, and they know it. So, he's got
comics. You got anything to answer about this? I wouldn't know.
There is a Nerdrotic Discord.
There is a Nerdrotic Discord.
Yes, there is.
There you go. There you go. So okay.
Just to ask about the movie here.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to say, where would you guys place this in the pantheon of Schwarzenegger movies? Near the top, near the bottom?
No, definitely top.
That.
Yeah. Just curious.
Oh, let me think here. Oh God,
I would definitely say top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Commando, Predator, Running Man.
I'm gonna go with
Terminator.
No, Terminator's my number 1.
Oh yeah,
Terminator.
Wait.
My number 1.
I forgot about Terminator.
Now, do you consider comics? Do you consider Predator an Arnold flick or just a monster flick? I think we just made it challenging here.
He carried that movie. He really did.
He did. He carried the movie.
It's like I understand when people say that something like that is a so and so actor flick. I mean, I truly get that, but I do think that movies can kind of live past the lead. Terminator being one of them to a degree.
Oh yeah, agreed.
I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, I don't need T2. I think the original Terminator stands alone. I always wanted to see what happened in the future, which is why I kind of like Salvation. I know it's not the greatest movie, but it was trending in the right direction. The issue with the Terminator franchise, and God, as I go down a fucking rabbit hole here, rather than continue on with what they were trying to do, which is show you the war between the machines and humanity, they decided to go and do another time travel story. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Predator, the main one, obviously is a Arnie flick.
I count it as an Arnie, very definitely an Arnie.
It's the Terminator? Yeah.
Sorry, Predator. No, Predator.
Oh, Predator.
Predator, Terminator, Commando, Total Recall in this one. So
there's certain movies you can't get away with doing a sequel to. Like, you can't do a sequel to Running Man. You can't do a sequel to Total Recall. But...
Hell,
I'm going to go with number 2. Remake. Number 2. That's my number. Number 2 Arnold flick. So, comics, you said top 3. Running Man's number 2. Jed, where are you at?
I would have to say what it'd be in my top 5.
Top 5. So, Dustin, where do you rank?
I would have to say top 5 because I was such a huge Arnold fan that his entire collection means a lot to me. I mean up to like Kindergarten Cop and then like Last Action Hero and stuff, and then kind of after that he really kind of fell off for me. But his body of work from the very beginning through like Last Action Hero, I think this would have to be the top 5. It would be really difficult for me to actually put a realistic order on them, though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
Fair. But the thing is, after Last Action Hero, he also had True Lies and Eraser. Obviously, Eraser wasn't as good as some of these, but Eraser was still solid in general.
I always forget about True Lies.
True Lies was better than Eraser was. Eraser was
big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I love True Lies. I mean, that whole thing where he was just like a guy who worked at the CIA, but his wife thought he was just some computer geek.
Oh, and True Lies had Jamie Lee in it too, dude. So,
Tom Arnold is pretty good in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anybody saying Batman and Robin.
Shut up!
I don't think I've actually watched that movie.
We want to forget that one, 70s.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Oh God, that is definitely his worst movie.
I don't know. No, hold on. There's that one movie. Okay, I'm not gonna even say it. I'm gonna get a clip of it. And there's this one movie he was in called Escape Plan.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't terrible. I enjoyed it as a movie.
First one was all right. Yeah.
That was the one with Stallone too. So
it was with Stallone.
Yeah.
And
what's it called?
Wait. I gotta take that back. I just remembered Gynesis and Dark Fate are movies. So yeah, you're right. It's not his worst movie.
Yeah. You see, I'm with you, comics. The Terminator franchise for me kept avoiding and missing the way it should have gone, which is the war with the machines in the future. It should have ended up there, and it never did. It kept shying away from it. The same way the Alien franchise kept shying away from bringing them back to the planet Earth and having that fight there.
Well, they tried to do it in Alien Resurrection, but
it's just too late by then. Yeah,
I know.
The ultimate place these franchises should have gone, they kept avoiding it again and again. I don't know why, but
all right. So looks like Arnold originally was talking about a sequel. Like he, this is obviously after he got out of office, and he said, "It's an honor to be asked back after all these years, back to the franchise. This is really wild. They're doing a twin sequel to be called Triplets. I read the first draft, doesn't come out. There's rumblings of a new Running Man movie, so it's a great honor to be asked back. Getting shape for these sequels comes back to bodybuilding. I'm used to doing cardiovascular training every day. Therefore, I'm still in good shape, and I can do the action, have the energy to do these movies. I'm personally glad, Arnold, nothing personal, that those never came out. I'm really glad. Hey,
Dude's 74 now. Not happening.
Oh, is he really 74? That's his actual age?
Yeah, he's 74.
Man, I knew he was like late 60s, but I didn't know he was that old.
He's old.
Jeez.
Yeah, okay. I think Ferrigno and him are almost the same age. I think
Ferrigno actually looks a lot better.
Yeah, Lou looks a lot better.
Chuck Norris. Okay, So this movie Escape Plan, there's this really ridiculous line. Arnold and Stallone are in it, and they get into it. They have a fight at this.
Oh, no, it's
prison.
I
And
like
if
this.
you guys don't know this line, just wait for it.
See what you can do. All right. You hit like a vegetarian.
One thing about going back to like the when Richard or whatever his name, Ben Richards, when he shows up in the prison, and he's got like that weird beard he's got going on. He's supposedly been in there for like 18 months, but his hair's like perfectly cut. Beard thing going on, like he couldn't shave, but he got a barber.
He figured out how to do that on YouTube. He watched YouTube videos and did his own hair.
At that time they had YouTube, man. They had YouTube in 2017, so even though they have a big yellow outfit, that was so on 2017.
They had YouTube in 2015.
You do find
it just
that
wasn't big.
You find that a lot in movies and TV. People have perfectly done hair or makeup. There'll be somebody lying in a hospital bed, a woman lying in a hospital bed, desperately ill. She's got perfect hair and makeup.
It's been in a coma for months.
That'd be my grandma, though. She would make sure she always had perfect makeup and hair.
My grandmother
the situation.
And sorry, guys, I had a brain fart. It was 2005. It was around. Not
2005 was all cat videos.
2005 is when it was not big, not 2015.
It was still YouTube, though. It still existed.
Yeah, it still existed.
Just not the caliber of what it would become, man.
I agree with what Cardinal Sin said. He should have done King Conan.
I would have actually been down for
they
that.
were going to do it, man, but what the reason why it never manifested was because Dark Fate flopped.
I know. And
there's a movie.
We'll never get King Conan now, so.
Yeah.
Did any of you say Conan was in your top 3, Arnie's? Because I put it in my top 3.
I do top 5.
The first Conan.
Actually, probably top 10 to be fair, because I'm a sucker for True Lies, and also what's that one? Twins. I love
Twins. That's such
Twins.
a
Conan would be in my top 10. So
it's in my top 3, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's fair. No, is it the Barbarian or the Destroyer?
Conan the Barbarian.
Okay,
not the.
Not the sequel. The sequel was bad. Like
the sequel was PG'd to hell. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Definitely not. Don't mention Red Sonja either. So.
I do love the first Terminator. The first Terminator. That's a great one too. The first Terminator is good. And of course, I love Red Heat. I mean, the fact that Arnold was a Russian cop in Chicago teaming up with Belushi. That whole line where Belushi's like, "Yeah, you can't touch his ass," and I was like, "I don't want to touch his ass."
I'm a big fan of the sci-fi stuff. I'm a sci-fi guy, so the Terminator's Total Recall. Total Recall may well be my number 1.
Do you remember watching any of the interviews with him talking about Red Heat? Because he's talking about how he's playing this Russian character and he has to play the straight man, and how Belushi was like making him laugh all the time.
Oh, I bet. I believe that. I mean, if I was working at Belushi, I don't know if I could take that seriously, because Belushi would have me cracking up. Cardinal Sin, they really missed a trick by not doing a King Conan film when he was still young enough to pull off. That's another thing. I mean, to be fair though, people were coming at him left and right for movies. He was probably at the point where he had to turn things down, and also he was doing a lot of original stuff at the time. They weren't just relying on sequels. He was just originals left and right. I mean, there was obviously a Red Heat. You had The Running Man. You had Total Recall. I'm missing another one here. Obviously the Terminator 2, Kindergarten Cop. I'm missing something here. Raw Deal. I miss Raw Deal. Yeah. Raw Deal is another one. It's the thing is, Arnold and Hollywood too, weren't relying always on sequels. The reason why Terminator got is just because of obviously the uniqueness of that circumstance of that story, but it really needed that sequel. It really led on to this needs a sequel to complete its story. And I mean, if Cardinal, you're right. If it had come out while Arnold was in his prime, King Conan could have been truly something special.
Well, I mean, according to IMDb, and you can't believe anything that's announced now because they announce movies just for the sake of it. They never happen. There is a Legend of Conan movie with Arnie, starring Arnie, announced, it says.
Yeah, what was that announced, though?
I don't know, but it's in the the top of the list.
Wait. I remember hearing it. I think that's supposed to be like the Netflix series.
Yeah, it's
where he's supposed to be reminiscing about the past. So he's going to be in it, but he's not really going to be starring in it.
No. Okay, that's what that is. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a movie or a show. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's a Netflix thing.
Okay.
Oh, young Arnold. I'm gonna be that guy. Like Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, Han Solo. I don't want a young Arnold. Like, it's at that point where it's too late. It sucks. It's unfortunate, but some things are just, for me, in my opinion, I feel like it should just be left alone and just move on to something else. I mean, we had a Conan, we had our Raw deal, we had our Running Man.
Well, the problem is they're not hiring creative writers anymore. They're hiring activists.
Yeah, and when they write, they're not creating character. They're just inserting themselves in this story. I mean, come on, I ain't Starfire anybody.
Oh God, yeah.
Sorry, I just threw up a bit in my mouth there. So.
Yeah.
oh, speaking of that, Wokie's gonna be on later on tonight. So.
I've yet to start that.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
The show Loki. Right? I forgot about that. Oh, comics.
Does it go completely off the rails?
One more thing I think we should mention.
That.
Dumb and lame. The funny thing is, like, everybody on the panel for the Loki review hated last week's episode.
Oh, it was terrible, comics. It was god awful. Oh,
I'm hearing that the main concern about the show. The main concern about the show is it's dull, isn't it? As opposed to even stuff. Yeah.
I mean, literally, the first episode, I wanted to fall asleep. I was watching Death Note like right before watching that show, and all I could think about while watching Loki was how I'd rather be watching Death Note.
We're waiting for it to be all out to watch it. I mean, but then again, we haven't even started watching like WandaVision.
Don't bother.
The, Winter Soldier.
Don't bother with WandaVision.
I can sum up all of the Disney Marvel series that are out there. The villain is really the hero, and the person that represents authority, that is actually supposed to be trying to chase after the bad people, is really the villain.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate.
So would you say that like Netflix was doing a better job with the Marvel universe or the TV series than Disney themselves?
As far as early Marvel Netflix, yes. No, I'll stand by this. I enjoyed the really first half of WandaVision up to when they got to this particular point that I won't spoil for you, Dustin. But I think comics and Jed might know what I'm talking about. There's a really great cliffhanger that was like, whoa, this is going to happen.
Yeah, I would say like the first half of it was good.
And we were like, come on.
I was like, okay, they actually are onto something totally cool here. But then they took that awesome cliffhanger and then they put it to waste in the worst way possible. It reminded me of I'll just say an Iron Man 3 fake out. That's the closest thing I'll say to that. And I'm sure once again, the guys who've seen it, they'll understand where I'm coming from with the fake out. So that's all I'll say. And Dustin, once you watch it, I mean, if you do, you and I can have that discussion. If you don't understand, I'll explain that to you. But anyways, guys, this is going to be the part, once again, as per usual, I like to go out while the iron is still running hot. We've had a lot of wonderful human beings stop here in the chat, and the chat has been super excellent today. Thank you. Daredevil's 3 seasons were great. Yeah, I agree. Love Daredevil. This has been awesome. Scene? Yeah.
Always scene.
So we're going to talk about what our next movie will be next Tuesday night. Same bat time, same bat channel. Next movie is going to be Tango and Cash.
Oh, yeah! Let's go! Let's go!
So, for those of you in the chat who are coming around here consistently, Tango and Cash is going to be next week's flick. It's going to be absolutely awesome. It's going to be good. It's going to be a blast. So, everyone watch it. And if you've already seen it, watch it again. And until then, we're going to start plugging some channels, starting with That 70s rock fan. Hi, 70s.
Hey, my man. Thanks for having me on, Nick, and thanks to my wonderful fellow panelists. You're all marvelous, simply marvelous. I am that 70s rock fan. I do have a little channel about science fiction books, music, and some other bits and pieces. And thank you to everybody in the chat for joining us today. And that's it. It's over to someone else.
Thank you. All right, Jed, what you got going on in the next few days?
What's today? Today's Tuesday, right?
Yes,
none unless I may have some random streams, but Thursday the Global Geek Gang. Friday is packed as shit. Like I'm on Pop Culture Minefield, Father Christopher, if you do your comic, and then we go to Foul Ball. So Friday's packed up. Saturday I'm on with Pablo. Then T-shirt after that on his Week in Geek, and then on Sunday, on our panel here, a new member of the Pulp Culture Archivist is on this panel right now at 70s. So
and he just hit 100 subs. Congrats, 70s.
Yeah,
thank you, my friend. Nice. I'm thinking that I'll have to do 100 sub thing of some kind when I get some time away from work. But I might be still my beating heart. I am an official Pop Culture Archivist. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, he is. So we brought in Ironcaster and 70s, so they're official archivists now. So
you obviously you reached the bottom of the barrel, and then
I know somebody said last week they're like, Jed's building his own empire, and I was like, well, thank Jeremy for that, because I took inspiration from Geeks and Gamers. So I was like, okay, let's build my own thing. Like, so
the Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, you crazy man. All right, Jed. Awesome. Now, Dustin, the floor is yours, sir. Plug away.
I want to say thanks to everybody who subscribed last week, because I think I was, 14 from 500 last week on my Keto Simple channel.
Woo!
And today I'm at 542.
Awesome, brother.
Nice.
Good, well played, sir.
Good.
Nice, dude. Badass. Anything got coming up that we should know about?
I released a video today where I did a TikTok cheese kind of thing, the keto cheese thing where you dry out cheese and then bake it.
Nice.
Oh, I like that. That's nice.
And then I've got a video coming out on Thursday that I make cheesy garlic bread.
Oh, nice, dude. Keep them coming, Dustin. Hey, dude, thank you for joining once again, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate all you guys. You guys are all awesome.
Thank you. Hopefully you'll be around next week for Tango and Cash. If not, I totally get it. I know I've taken a lot of your time, so hopefully you don't get bored. And then the Wake Down.
'Tis I. Stop by the channel if you'd like. Check it out. I do all kinds of stuff with no schedule to it whatsoever. I make comedic videos. I do live streams of video games and watch-alongs and movie reviews, and I do all kinds of shit, really. I don't know.
Nice.
You might like it.
You should check it out, and you will like it.
I just suck at selling myself.
And Wake Down's also on Foul Ball with us on Friday, so also with 70s too. So.
He's an integral member.
Yeah,
when it comes to the fun videos.
He did his Matt and Bree video. You guys got to go watch that. So.
Breeback Mountain. Yes. That's a classic. Breeback Mountain. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, comics. Plug away, sir.
How's it going? I like cheese. You think that with a name like Comics Division, my channel will be about comics, but it's about cheese.
hey, comments. Do you like turtles too?
I also like turtles. I like feeding cheese to turtles.
Should we mention Dick's Division and cheese in the same sentence?
No,
absolutely not. Hey, everybody, how's it going? You can follow me on Twitter, and mine's at Comics Division. Of course, there's my YouTube channel, Comics Division, where I stream every Monday with our fine host here, Nick Weiser, and then on Thursday. And maybe even on Sunday. I don't know. We're still kind of hashing out the details. And of course, you can also find me at Friday Night Tights on Fridays, and over at Unsafe Space, where I talk about the Great Reset.
Nice.
All right.
Wait.
Excellent.
Comics, I thought they got a strike, so they couldn't do anything for 2 weeks.
Yeah, they do. So everything is going to their Clips channel.
Oh, okay.
I guess comics isn't two trades like author Steve.
Comics got him again. Like,
All right. So anyone who knows how we cue the music here as we go, yeah, we're gonna do that song again. So it's been fun, guys. Thank you to the chat. Thank you for the tips. And now we cue the music with na 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 na. Hey.